Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten here, bringing you a new Nancy Drew analysis video. Today's video is brought to you by the patrons over at Mystique Manor and by all the official Fellow Detective channel members. If you too would like to support the channel and gain access to exclusive features, check out patreon.com/wizardkitten to become a patron, or click join next to the subscribe button to become an official fellow detective. In my last Nancy Drew analysis video, I discussed what, in my opinion at least, makes for an evil culprit versus a sympathetic one. This was a really fun video to make, as I got to go through the entire series and explore how evil the culprit situations are as a whole. But while I was going through the games, my analysis brain came across several characters who actually ended up meeting some of the criteria for being evil despite not actually being the culprits of their respective games. This idea fascinated me, and so here we are. As a quick recap within the Nancy Drew series, I see truly evil villainous characters, culprit or otherwise, as those that are defined by cruel and evil deeds. For this video, these characters are not the definitive culprit of the game, in that they are not responsible for the primary mystery that Nancy was brought there to solve, but they are still up to some devious acts that impact other characters in manipulative or deeply hurtful ways. Their actions usually have some level of closeness to them, in that their direct intention is usually, but not always, to hurt someone. If that isn't their direct intention, then they are simply perfectly okay with emotionally manipulating and hurting someone to get what they want, almost to a sociopathic extent. They treat others as completely disposable. I also classify characters as evil when they go to extreme lengths to exact revenge for comparatively minuscule offenses. Finally, there's also often a certain separation from reality, where they believe so fully that their misdeeds are justified that they are beyond reasoning. I have identified 5 non-culprits from the Nancy Drew series who I believe still meet this criteria. From this point on, there will be plot, culprit, and game spoilers for The Final Scene, Secret of the Old Clock, Warnings at Waverly Academy, and Alibi in Ashes, in no particular order. You have been warned. At number 5, we have Izzy Romero from Warnings at Waverly Academy. I think the best word to describe Izzy is ruthless. She knows exactly what she wants: to be the best, have the best, and be seen as the best. She also doesn't really care how she gets her results, as long as she gets them. She distinctly lacks empathy, and her actions are nearly always calculated as part of some overall game plan to achieve recognition, respect, power, or influence. We have a few examples of this in the game: her complete and utter maligning and bullying of anyone who she doesn't deem worthy, i.e. Corinne and Rachel, as well as anyone that she feels threatened by, i.e. Mel. It doesn't matter who Izzy is talking to, she will find a way to tear these 3 girls down, and probably many more who we never meet, in order to put herself higher up on the pedestal. Additionally, within the game, there are at least 2 instances where Izzy goes out of her way to purposefully hurt one of her classmates. All evidence points to Izzy being the one who framed Mel for plagiarism of her paper, an act that is seemingly out of the blue and not some kind of retaliation because Mel has done nothing wrong except exist. She also pretends to be friends with Leela, but instead of legitimate friendship, Izzy appears to simply use Leela as a status symbol, the smart girl who is also good at sports and therefore beneficial to Izzy's image. If they were truly friends, then Izzy would have had no reason to coerce Leela's boyfriend. Of course, he is certainly free to date whomever he pleases, as Izzy says within the game. But the complete lack of remorse for Leela and the very obvious purposeful nature of this act further supports that Izzy is unkind, manipulative, power-hungry, and at least a little bit evil. Number 4, Brady Armstrong from the final scene. Dear old Brady will tell anyone who will listen that it's really Simone who makes him look callous and uncaring. But don't let him fool you. Brady is a grown man who is fully capable of making his own choices, and he happily lets Simone take care of the mundane parts of his job so that he can focus on all that he truly cares about, his image. Brady is a narcissist. He only cares about things if they involve him, and he only cares about people if they are actively supporting his quests for the money and power that he requires in order to maintain his image. Brady is all too happy to be famous and beloved, as long as he doesn't have to engage in the tediousness of actually interacting with his fans or supporting his brand in business. Basically, as long as he doesn't have to do any work but look like he is, then he's a happy camper. What truly makes Brady become an evil person, though, is his complete and utter disregard for the feelings and needs of anyone besides himself. He pretends to care about Nancy's plight, but doesn't provide her with accurate information and actively uses Maya to support his own image. He pretends to care about Maya being missing, but when it comes down to it, he's perfectly happy for her to disappear, especially since she was going to, in his words, expose him. Brady only cares about Brady, and people getting in the way of Brady are disposable to Brady, which, in my mind, skews him more evil than not. Number 3, Richard Topham from Secret of the Old Clock. Richard Topham is a bona fide charlatan. It's possible that he believes that he has all of the psychic powers he claims to have, but I think it's highly unlikely that he actually believes that any of his students are smart or capable enough to also possess such abilities. He will stroke their egos and manipulate their ignorance and insecurities all day long, especially since his adoring students are willing to pay hefty tuitions to his crackpot school. Topham is a businessman who steals money from unsuspecting people, none more so than Josiah Crowley. Topham wormed his way into Crowley's life, taking advantage of Crowley's natural curiosity, trust, and naivete in order to poach his vast fortune. When Josiah Crowley suddenly dies and the will is nowhere to be found, one suddenly appears and leaves everything to Richard Topham, the house and the fortune. This essentially allows him to steal what rightfully belonged to Emily Crandall and Jim Archer, both of whom are struggling financially. But Topham couldn't care less. He's arrogant, self-centered, and too absorbed with his own life and success to care about anyone else. It's very likely that he never even cared about Josiah Crowley to begin with. He had his eye on the prize the entire time, and taking advantage of someone to such a significant extent is definitely evil. Number 2, Antonia Scolari from Alibi in Ashes. Tony Scolari is a politician, by which I mean the worst kind of politician who will change her message to suit whoever she is speaking to. Everything for her is staged. She speaks in empty, vacuous promises and condolences. She lauds the small-town charm of River Heights while actively working to dismantle its history. She pretends to appreciate Nancy just as much as the rest of the town, while actively pressuring the police to arrest Nancy so that she doesn't have to deal with her anymore. Tony can't stand that Nancy makes the town government look bad. See here, Tony, Nancy being successful doesn't make the town government look bad. You being incompetent and fake makes the town government look bad. The fact that Tony directly goes after Nancy in an attempt to ruin Nancy's life, purely to suit her own ends, is what makes her rank so highly on this list. It's vengeful, cruel, and frankly childish. Someone who pretends to be nice and friendly to everyone to their face, while actively trying to tear them apart behind the scenes, is a horrible, evil person. But in the most evil spot, in my opinion, number 1, Simone Mueller from the final scene. Brady may be image-obsessed and narcissistic, but he's also not that clever. Simone, on the other hand, she's smart, and that's what helps her clinch the most villainous spot on this list. Simone is just as image-conscious as Brady, but she likes to work behind the scenes, manipulating her dumb little puppet to suit her own success. She gets a kick out of it, seeing how successful she can make Brady, how much money she can make, how much power she can accrue. It's her entire life, and other people are just pawns in the chess game that is making Brady a success. We see this in how she addresses Brady's fans and curates every single interaction to be some sort of publicity boost for his brand. Nothing she does is actually for the purpose of caring for Brady or his fans, but caring about the success. As such, she doesn't care one iota when Maya goes missing until she finds a way to profit from it. She creates missing posters that promote Brady and arranges a press conference that also promotes Brady. She can't even pronounce Maya's name correctly, which is how we know that the entire thing is just a huge charade. The big finale, though, in Simone's evil plan? The Funeral Wreath. Simone purchased a funeral wreath for the press conference in order to drum up even more publicity for Brady, not caring for even a second what this could do to Nancy's already incredibly fragile mental and emotional state. Simone may not have kidnapped Maya, but she actively contributed to the trauma of the situation for no reason other than to promote her star, which is truly evil and disgusting. And then she even has the gall to complain to Nancy about the price of the wreath. So yeah, she's evil. For sure. So, there you have it, fellow detectives. My list of the top 5 most evil non-culprits in the Nancy Drew series. When making this list, I realized that there actually aren't too many truly evil characters outside of the culprit list within the series. There are definitely a few other bad guys, so to speak, like Lillian Weiss from Stay Tuned for Danger, or Tino Balducci from Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, or Lou Talbot from White Wolf of Icicle Creek. People who are doing illegal or dangerous things that have the potential to hurt people but aren't actively evil. It's interesting to think about within the context of a mystery series that a lot of our actual suspects don't end up being suspicious in the end, even if they seem like they could have been during the game itself. But what do you think, fellow detectives? Do you agree with my list and rankings? Did I miss any other non-culprits that you think are also evil? Let a Wizard Kitten know in the comments section down below. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button or tipping me for the video with a super thanks next to the download button right beneath the video. If you would like to come join a fantastic group of fellow detectives at Mystique Manor as a patron for the channel, gain access to exclusive content, and support the making of more content like this, please check out patreon.com/wizardkitten. I also have channel memberships with exclusive badges and emojis to use during streams and in the comment section. If you would like to support the channel by becoming an official fellow detective, click join next to the subscribe button. Please feel free to follow the channel on Instagram or Discord, linked in the description box down below. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Nancy Drew and Sims 4 content. Thank you so much for watching, fellow detectives. I will see you soon.